Principal Weems could become anyone, literally anyone, but the one person she could never be, herself. And that inability to exist as Larissa Weems without wearing someone else's face would cost her everything. I'm Raphael CG, this is Wednesday Universe, let's get into it. Class of 1991, Nevermore Academy, shapeshifter, and roommate to the one person who would define her entire life, Morticia Addams. Here's what most fans miss. Weems isn't a completely new character. Charles Addams actually created a Miss Weems back in his original comic strips. She was the Addams family's babysitter. Netflix took that forgotten character from 1957 and gave her a massive upgrade, from nanny to principal, from background character to one of the show's most complex figures. Here's what you need to understand about Weems. She wasn't mediocre. She was talented, determined. She could shapeshift flawlessly, nailed a Judy Garland impression at the Solstice talent show, and threw herself into everything Nevermore had to offer. But Morticia had that effortless charm. Captain of the fencing team, admired by everyone, the kind of person people just gravitated toward. And no matter how hard Weems worked, she was always the second name people remembered, the one just outside the spotlight. And then came the rave end. That night, Garrett Gates, a normie obsessed with Morticia, showed up at Nevermore and ended up dead in the quad. Weems saw the body fall. She saw Gomez on the roof with a bloody sword, and she blamed Morticia for all of it. Decades pass. Weems becomes principal. She pours everything into Nevermore, trying to turn it into the safe haven she never found when she was a student. And then, Wednesday Addams walks through the door, sharp, defiant, and painfully reminiscent of the woman Weems spent her whole life resenting. This is where the real story begins. Weems' power is rare. Shapeshifting. She can become anyone she's seen, perfectly, down to the last detail, and she uses that power like a weapon. When Rowan Laszlo is killed on campus, Weems doesn't report it. She shapeshifts into him, walks around as him, stages his expulsion to convince everyone he's alive and well. She does this to protect Nevermore's reputation, to keep the school from being shut down. Later, she transforms into Tyler Galpin to infiltrate a conversation between Wednesday and Marilyn Thornhill. And that's how the truth finally comes out. Thornhill isn't who she says she is. She's Laurel Gates, the real villain. But here's the thing about Weems' shapeshifting. It's not just a power, it's a survival mechanism. She's spent her entire life becoming whoever others need her to be, the supportive roommate, the competent principal, the protector of outcasts. Weems can become anyone, except the version of herself she actually wants to be. From the moment Wednesday arrives, Weems is watching, and not in a casual way, an almost suffocating way. She assigns Wednesday mandatory therapy with Dr. Kinbot. She monitors her movements. She even puts Wednesday in Ophelia Hall, the exact dorm she and Morticia lived in, and pairs her with Enid Sinclair, a bubbly werewolf who's the complete opposite of Wednesday. Coincidence? Or did Weems know exactly what she was doing? Throughout Season 1, the tension escalates. Wednesday wants to investigate the monster attacks. Weems wants to bury the truth. Wednesday sneaks out. Weems locks her down. It's a constant battle for control. And underneath it all, Weems sees Wednesday as a younger, more reckless version of Morticia. But here's where it gets complicated. Weems isn't a villain. She genuinely cares about her students. She donates heavily to Jericho to keep peace between outcasts and normies. She covers up Rowan's death not just to protect the school's image, but to protect the students from being hunted. And when the final confrontation happens, Weems makes a choice. She shapeshifts into Tyler to help Wednesday expose Thornhill. She puts herself directly in the line of fire, and Thornhill responds by stabbing her in the neck with nightshade poison. Weems drops to the ground, foaming at the mouth, dying. The last thing she does is protect the daughter of the woman who took everything from her. Wednesday watches her die, and for the first time, she realizes Weems wasn't trying to control her. She was trying to save her, and now she's gone. Season 2, Part 2 opens on Wednesday waking up from a 2-week coma. Tyler threw her out a window. Her psychic abilities are glitching. Goody Addams' book is destroyed. And then a voice cuts through the silence. Weems is back, not as the polished principal in tailored suits, not as the authority figure trying to control everything. She's a spirit. Only Wednesday can see her, and Enid has no idea she's even there. But here's the twist. Mentors are blood relatives. Goody was Wednesday's ancestor, so how can Weems be a mentor? The show drops the bombshell. Weems and Wednesday are 13th cousins twice removed. They share Addams' front blood, and suddenly everything reframes. The rivalry with Morticia wasn't just jealousy, it was family dysfunction buried under decades of resentment. Weems wasn't just a bitter ex-roommate, she was watching her own cousin steal her life. As a spirit, Weems is different. She's sharper, more confrontational. She doesn't sugarcoat anything. She warns Wednesday about dangers, reunites her with Morticia when Pugsley goes missing, and continues protecting Nevermore from beyond the grave. Gwendolyn Christie described this version of Weems as existing in the in-between state of death and rebirth. Her costume design shifted from Hitchcock's The Birds in Season 1 to Vertigo in Season 2, a film about obsession, illusion, and the desperate need to become someone else, which is exactly what Weems has always been about. If you want more breakdowns like this, subscribing really helps keep the channel going. So what is Weems' story really about? On the surface, it's about a principal trying to protect her school, but underneath, it's about identity, about what happens when you spend your entire life wearing masks, literal and metaphorical, because the real you was never enough. Weems is a reflection of everything around her, not just of Wednesday or Morticia, but of anyone who's ever felt like they had to perform to belong, anyone who's been told they were almost good enough, anyone who's watched someone else live the life they wanted. Gwendolyn Christie built Weems as a Hitchcock tragic heroine, polished and unbreakable on the outside, hollow and aching underneath. Christie said this role was the first time she ever felt beautiful on screen. And that vulnerability is what makes Weems unforgettable. She died protecting the daughter of the woman she resented most. And in that moment, she finally became herself. Not Morticia's shadow, not Nevermore's shield, just Larissa Weems. Weems isn't just a shapeshifter. She's proof that the masks we wear to protect ourselves can become the cages we die in. Season 2 brought her back as a spirit, not for revenge, not to rewrite her story, but to finish what she started. She's mentoring Wednesday out of genuine care, because for Weems, it was never about control. It was about protection, about making sure no one else was left unseen, the way she once was. And maybe that's her redemption. One thing's certain, in a world where death is just another doorway, Larissa Weems is far from done. She's still watching, still protecting, still becoming whoever Nevermore needs her to be, and Nevermore itself is changing too. So, click on the video right there and uncover the complete history of the Academy she gave everything to protect. I'll see you in a few seconds.